Back again with another episode of Clean Breakthrough, powered by Greenville Transitions. Today is a holiday episode. We're going to talk about holidays. Got Cole here. I've got Lucas here.
I'm regretting we didn't dress up for this. Like, we should have dressed up in like holiday gear. You know what I mean? Holiday gear, if you will.
Yeah. I'm a big hat guy normally, and I have like a Halloween style hat. Well, I've got a Christmas one on the way, so I'm excited.
Ooh.
Let you guys preview that, but not until December.
The same company as your ghost hat?
No, I had to venture out.
Is it one logo or is it a bunch of little ones?
I don't know.
I'm gonna guess what it is. Okay. All right, we'll wait. We'll wait. No spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into it then. Let's find out. I have a question for both of you. I don't know the answer to for this on either of you guys. What is your favorite holiday? Why don't we all share that? We'll get started off with that. Your favorite holiday.
Take it away, Lucas.
Lucas.
Mine is Christmas, but I'm not like diehard about it or anything like that. I would just say out of all the holidays, that would probably be my favorite.
Okay.
All right. Very basic answer. Thank you, Lucas. Christmas. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I think I would be in a similar boat. Christmas is probably my favorite. From the magic that goes into it, as like from your childhood to just the lights. Lights make me happy. And I like seeing lights everywhere, especially the twinkle ones.
The nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like the nostalgia with Christmas just hit harder than any other holiday.
Dude, the best movies are around that holiday. You got Home Alones. You've got Christmas Vacation. You've
Christmas
got
Story.
Christmas Story. Yeah, like Christmas by far.
Wow, by far?
Yeah.
Dang.
I can go into the holidays I like the least too.
We could go to that one as well, but dang, okay. I'm gonna zig where y'all are zagging, just to be a little different. I do like Christmas for a lot of the reasons you just listed. I did spend a weekend getting absolutely sunburnt on my roof, putting Christmas lights up there. It felt really wrong to be doing Christmas lights and it being 70 degrees. But I have a rule, like none of the lights go on until after Thanksgiving, because it's like a whole like Clark Griswold type of situation. And there's a lot of inflatables, there's candy canes, there's like light up Christmas tree. There's a whole thing, lights on the roof. It's a whole big thing, but we don't turn them on until Thanksgiving. I was really embarrassed, and apologies to my neighbors that I accidentally left them plugged in and half the lights were on the other night. And that's just not how we do it at the Count House. So I'm really sorry to the people in my neighborhood who probably couldn't care less. But I'm going to say Thanksgiving. And the reason is I like there's not a lot of pressure. I honestly don't do much of the cooking. So people who cook will probably disagree with me. There's not pressure. But you just show up, eat some good food, hang out, watch the football, take a nap. I love that whole process. We've also, over the last few years, realized that we're trying to shove like 2 different family visits in the same day. Just doesn't work. So we'll do one family on Thursday, and then we'll do another family like Friday or Saturday. So we kind of stretch it out and really like that. And then I love the anticipation. It gets my dopamine going that Christmas is coming, but I haven't like settled into some of the like bah humbugness of it, of having to like spend all this money and buy all these presents and run around all over the place. So it's like there's like a Christmas appetizer in there for Thanksgiving without any of the pressure. So I'm gonna go with Thanksgiving. Pretty stoked.
Even the Black Friday deals, the Cyber Mondays that happen around Thanksgiving, that doesn't give you pressure.
I don't really do that stuff. I don't know. I mean, I'm fortunate to have a wife that really gets into that. So I don't really spend much time on that. In fact, I'm really excited this year. I'm going to go to the Georgia Tech game on Black Friday. So we'll have like Thanksgiving with my family, and then we'll do Georgia Tech, my brother-in-law in Atlanta. We're going to do that and have a really good time. And then we'll do with my in-laws, we'll do their Thanksgiving on Saturday. So it's going to be a nice little Thanksgiving celebration.
I dig it. Lucas is smirking over there.
I don't dig it.
You don't like my answers at all?
I don't dig it and I don't respect it. It sounds like you like it because it's not a holiday and that it just is looking forward to Christmas, the better
Man.
holiday.
Hey, it's the anticipation of
Like
it.
there's no pressure. You just eat a good meal and that's
Yep.
kind of it. And I'm like, that's why I don't think it's a great holiday.
Yeah,
I do like getting together. I do like getting together with family, but I just think I also do that for Christmas. And there's probably even more pressure for further members of family that are like live further away. Like, oh, we might not come for Thanksgiving, but we'll definitely come for Christmas. I feel like Christmas kind of takes precedent, so it's even more of the family together, and normally for more time because people get more time off. I've got all kind of argument. Don't make me defend.
Maybe some of us are.
This isn't the boat.
Maybe some of us are happy that it's not like that much family. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
that could be true. Yeah,
there's a low keyness to it. You know, it's
I
like
do love my family.
it's like what Christmas. I think I said it for years. It's like what Christmas should be. It's just about like hanging out, doing your thing, and all the big marketing and like corporate America hasn't like absolutely infested it and saying you have to buy all these gifts and like have to do this and have to do that and whatever. And you just enjoy it for what it is.
They do it the next day.
It's the soul. Well, I don't. I go watch major
And
college.
then now,
I go watch major college football.
3 days later on Monday, then they say, and if you don't feel like going in store, which most people don't now, they say, well, now it's all week online, a bunch of pressure and emails and targeted ads and social media everywhere saying Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever.
Look,
but I do feel like Christmas, that kind of dies down as you get closer to the day. And I feel like everything just kind of dies on Christmas. Like no businesses are open. You just stay home. If we get a little snow before then, that's always really nice.
I just read a stat.
When has that happened? Snow before Christmas? Once in our 40 years of being on this earth?
Twice since I've lived here. And then in Asheville, it happened for us more years than not. But
yeah, it just happened in Nashville like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, twice since I've lived in Greenville has it snowed.
Yeah, I think I've only had it maybe twice. So once every 20 years for me.
Mm.
I love the idea of it. Now, I actually will say I do enjoy my Christmas day. It's just the Christmas season is a lot of hustling, a lot of moving and grooving, and I don't always love that. Christmas Day, man, it's like we make some monkey bread. I make biscuits and gravy. Got my coffee going. Always have a fire going. Kids open presents. I do a charcuterie board later in the day. I'm just like hanging out and I'm in like chill mode. I do enjoy Christmas Day. It's just all the running and gunning before it that kind of stresses me out. And on Thanksgiving, that's what Thanksgiving is. It's just sit and chill, eat good food. To each their own. Let's talk about our least favorite holidays.
Well, let's just segue into, because we're coming up on, we just covered Thanksgiving and Christmas. And when this comes out, Thanksgiving will probably just happen and Christmas will be around the corner. And so maybe like what are stressors around? I feel like we just covered a bunch of them of like consumerism pressure, family pressure. I gotta go. I can't go. I gotta go, but I don't want to go. We didn't even cover, that like those might be big drinking holidays for families. And now if you're a newly sober person in a family that drinks a lot on those days, what does that look like? I feel like there are genuinely a lot of triggers there for people, especially newer in recovery.
Do we want to say our personal triggers or just ones that we've seen a lot for people who are newly sober?
Yeah. My trigger still withstanding can just be mixing with family. And it's just some family you get along with better than others. And I feel like there's like landmines around holidays sometimes of like, oh, let me not step there and not step there. And just old habits die hard, like sibling stuff where I'm a big teaser and I have a sibling that does not like to be teased at all. And it is like, takes everything within me to just not see so many opportunities for a little tease or a little joke and to just keep it to myself and not say it. I do feel better about myself when I don't do that, but it's hard, I really like to tease and joke and stuff like that. And some people just don't like it. So I think that's probably the biggest longstanding trigger, but I'd say the one that I see the most in people is like drinking around the holidays, and either on the family's end of, is it okay that we drink? Can we have alcohol? Should we hide it all? Should we get it out of the house? Should we tell someone who is coming and is like, hey, I'm not bringing my beer just because so and so's getting sober? Do we tell them they're not welcome anymore? Like navigating all that, I feel like is the biggest. Even just the anticipation of that is the trigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's also the pressure of like catching people up on what you've been up to. You know, it's like family that you maybe don't see as much, or friends you don't see as much. And if you're like newly sober, you know, having to say like, well, I got sober, or I started going to 12-step meetings, or I went to rehab this past like fall, or like it's just stuff that the three of us would all be like, that's awesome, right? Because we work in this field and we, you know, some of us have lived it personally. But I think like the average person is going to be like, oh, what? This is. And so, like, how do you be genuine in those situations? I think is a really big trigger, along with just like that anxiety of like stepping away from normal routines, right? Like I called it earlier, the running and gunning of like holiday season. You maybe don't go to the gym as much. Maybe you don't get as much sleep. Maybe you don't go to your meeting. Maybe you're not doing some of these little things along the way that have really helped your recovery. So I think that's a big trigger as well.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that, just like lack of structure in general, and like plans being added to my schedule, which I don't do well with sometimes. I do well with my own plans,
Yeah.
things that I put on the calendar, but when it comes to things that like my wife is putting on the calendar, my mom is putting on the calendar, I can easily get overwhelmed with that stuff and just want to retreat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think another big one too for families is just pressure around being around their loved one who struggle with substances, and just like kind of fretting and wanting everything to be perfect, or what are they doing in the bathroom, or what, you know, are they okay, and like being like hyper vigilant, that being cranked up a notch around the holidays and spending more time together, and even deciding like, do we spend time together? So that's a tough one too, you know.
I have a rule around like the drinking or drinks being around at parties and stuff. And for me personally, I feel like if you're in your first year and your loved one is struggling with drugs, alcohol, it's not even a question. No alcohol at the event, no drugs at the event, no mood mind altering substances at the event, other than maybe some sugar and some caffeine. Outside of a year, ask the person. And the reason I say just don't, it's not a question in the first year, is I think some people may feel pressure to say, no, it's okay if they're asked, because they don't want they don't want to alter or affect other people's time or their holidays. So don't even let it be a question.
Mm-hmm.
After a year, ask the person, say, hey, how would you feel around being at this holiday event if there's alcohol there? And see how they respond to it. That's just the rule of thumb I like to go by.
I like that rule. And I kind of think that it can be a little shifty. Like when I've seen some people that are like, well, I want to ask the person, it kind of feels like they know that they're going to say it's not a big deal, just so that they then have license to not have to alter everyone's Thanksgiving or Christmas. And so it feels like it's more about them, rather than I do appreciate the advice of like, if it's the first year, don't even ask. Just get all the alcohol out of the house. Tell everyone that it's a no alcohol Thanksgiving and Christmas. Not behind the person's back, but just like, this is something we're doing, whether they want us to or not. And it's just that's all it is. Rather than giving them the option. Giving them the option feels like you're giving yourself the option to not have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think there's like a consideration just across the board. You know, just trying to be considerate of what other people need. But then I think that's what's hard. It's like family members and friends are also kind of like being stretched. And so we may not be just as considerate as support people in those situations, you know, and just not maybe think it through. So there is like a certain amount of like advocacy, like self-advocacy that has to happen there. And that can be really uncomfortable too.
Well, and that just might not be their year one. But year two, they may be totally comfortable enough to say,
yeah,
I just can't be around it. If y'all can't do without it, it's all good. I'll try to make it work, or I just won't come. Not out of like a threat to make it happen, but I just got to look out for me and make sure that I'm not around something that's going to put me at risk to drink. And normally this is all around drinking, right? And we say drugs and drinking, but I don't think many people's Thanksgiving holidays are spent smoking crack in the kitchen, before the meal or anything. But there could be pot and stuff around
Yeah,
it.
and that's where I was headed toward. I think there is a lot of THC consumption around holidays.
I don't think I see that as much as like a family tradition. That's like me and my cousin go for a walk before dinner, and everyone knows what that means, and either give us dirty looks as we walk out or make funny faces at us when we come back. But it's not
not as popular as the eggnog.
Yeah, it's not like, all right, we're gonna pull out the family bong and take hits before we cut the turkey.
Bro, that'd be wild. There's somewhere there's a family that does that.
There's definitely someone that does that. I can promise you that.
Or I would think even more popular than that is gummies. Like, hell, here's a little THC gummy for everyone. Let's pass them around before we just go crush turkey.
Yeah, I could see some of that stuff more and more today, but I still think any family that I've ever worked with, that's not been on the table. It's been just drinking.
Well, another point around that is the fact like you're coming around like old people, places and things again. Sometimes you maybe have like moved away for your sobriety and then you're going back home to visit for the holidays. And I don't know if this is still true, but I remember hearing this years ago that the biggest party day of the year is the night before Thanksgiving. And it's just why I don't know. I don't know if everybody's just hyped up about the holiday season. People come back in town. I maybe because Thanksgiving doesn't. Well, I love it. Doesn't have as big of demands, and so you can like go out and stuff the night before, as opposed to like Christmas Eve or some of these other holidays where there might be more stuff already like on the docket for the holiday. Thanksgiving the night before, like there tends to be like a lot of partying, from what I understand. So that's another big one. It's like I just want to go see my old buddies and go do this, and it's like a lot of triggers there.
It's like the ultimate connection day, because if you have a hometown, some people leave that hometown, some people stay there. So if you stayed there, all of your friends for that one day, normally their parents stayed there also, just the kid maybe moved to New York or LA or Kansas or whatever. But that one holiday, they all come back. So all your buddies come back to the hometown. And then if you're from away, you go back to the hometown. It just seems like everybody reconvenes to kind of where they're from. And there's like this reconnection. And then like you said, there's nothing going on. What do we do the night before? I'm here for 3 days. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Well, let's go to the bar. And I've seen that so much where that's just like the thing to do.
Yeah.
And if that's what all your friends are doing, I mean, there's got to be some FOMO and stuff like that going on where you're like, no, I'm just going to sit at home with my family.
I'll give some advice on this. Like I haven't lived this like personally, not being in recovery myself, but I have lived this fairly recently of like the need to create new traditions in the first years after like some big changes. So like last year, for example, it was the first Thanksgiving that my in-laws were divorced and that my dad had died. My dad had died like around like Labor Day, and my in-laws had like gotten divorced in that past year. So when we came into Thanksgiving last year, so in 2024, it was like a really hard time. My wife and I talked about it. We're like, let's just do something different. Like, I think the loss and the grief, which is being like constantly felt, and that's just like from actual people and relationships, there's still the same with like somebody's early in sobriety. There's the grieving that's happening. I don't live life like I used to do. Let's do something different. So we decided to do like a Thanksgiving away and went and like had a mountain house. My mother-in-law came to visit for part of it, like had like a Thanksgiving meal there, had our kids there. We went and like went to the Biltmore and just did something different. And it was really nice, actually. And I wouldn't say it was like escaping our problems. I still felt grief. Like I still felt like the loss of things, but there was something about the new experience that like was healing. So we've seen that with some of our families in sober living, right? Like they create new traditions when their son is in our sober living and maybe doesn't have the independence to go back home. So they come here. They'll get an Airbnb and like create like a Thanksgiving tradition here, at least for that 1 year. And I would advise like more people to do that and to be considerate of that and not be so scared to like ruffle feathers, and like to upset like whoever who just like wants the same tradition, and to realize you can return to the traditions. Because this is year 2 after my dad died. We're going back and doing the same. Like I'll be going to my mom's on Thanksgiving Day. going to in-law stuff that weekend. Like we're going back to more of the tradition, but sometimes you just need to do something a little different to like process, you know? So that's just something I've like seen personally. It's okay to have things be a little different.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the more pressing questions for families that are looking into Greenville transitions like around November and December, is they want to know, hey, what is our holiday going to look like if our son comes to your program?
Mm-hmm.
But
that's what
luckily,
it does.
what'd you say?
And that's what it does for most of our guys. I would say like 95% of them, families come here, they get an Airbnb. And for some families, that's really easy. They already live in Greenville, or maybe they live in Charlotte or Atlanta, and it's just a 2-hour drive that day, and they stay one night. And for some of them, it's a lot tougher. And we've worked with guys from Texas and further away places that it's more of a to do. But I feel like they normally even go like harder, and they're like, we're getting an Airbnb for 4 days, and we're like planning out this and that, because then they just kind of make it a bigger trip.
Yeah.
And we see that, we recommend that because we see it go well 95% of the time. Like every guy who does that, that seems to be the way. And then we have food at the house just in case anybody comes back or plans fall through or whatever. Like that's still going to be going on at the house no matter what as a fallback. But most families, that's what's happening, and it works out really well.
Can y'all recall your first holidays sober?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all remember them even all these years later?
Oh yeah.
What worked and what didn't work?
My parents, I was in Asheville, so they got like a rental house. And I want to say, it might have just been one of my sisters. My other sister didn't talk to me for a while when I got sober, but I think it was one of my sisters, my brother, my girlfriend at the time, and my parents, and they even brought dogs and stuff. And my dad cooked Thanksgiving like he normally would, just at a house somewhere around Asheville, not right in it, maybe a little bit of ways. It was kind of nice.
I bet Barry was pissed having to use other people's pots and pans and not knowing where things are.
I remember it being like totally enjoyable. I don't remember ever having a conversation about alcohol being around. I don't remember anything about alcohol being around. Like it was just really nice. They didn't ask like, do you think we should come up? Like they just took it upon themselves and said, we're coming up. We're doing Thanksgiving by you. Whole family's coming. Not like it needed to be up for debate, but just like that's what's happening. And I was really happy with that. And I saw something the other day, Cole, because I've heard you say consider it. And I saw a thing the other day that said consideration is the highest form of love. And I haven't fully thought about that if I totally agree with it, but I thought there's a lot of truth to that. Just someone considering, I was about to say considerating.
Considerating.
Dude,
Someone considering.
I'm still stuck on your dad cooking Thanksgiving dinner in a random location. I can't imagine it.
No, but here's the thing, David. Well, here's the thing, David. Like, and this is to Lucas's like point. Like that is like what love is. You know what I mean? Like we all know Barry, and we know how much like his systems do matter and his pots and pans matter. But you know what matters to him more than that? His kid. You know, like so there is like, and that may hit even differently now all these years later, Lucas. Like having kids of your own and being like, damn, like my dad really likes the kitchen being a certain way. He really likes his pots and pans, and he did all that. Like for me, who had like been in active drug addiction and was like had just been kind of a mess for years, like still did that for me. Like there's something really special about that, and that is like a gift. As you get older, you start to see people in a different light when you've walked in somewhat similar shoes.
Yeah, I was gonna find I totally agree with that, and I don't remember even hearing the tiniest complaint about like, oh well, we had to do Thanksgiving up here, and I don't know how I'm gonna cook this and that. Like it just wasn't a thing. And my dad definitely has like while he can be particular, he has what my mother calls a servant's heart. And so
he does. So
he does. So like, I think just like okay, this is how I show up is we go up there and I figure out how to do Thanksgiving dinner as normally as possible in this new environment. And that was kind of like the challenge. And I think he also appreciates a challenge. And so then making that happen. And he did, and it was really good. And I have nothing but a good memory of it. I don't really remember the first Christmas as much, other than I think I did go home for that. There was no alcohol there. And I think I might have even asked. I was like, "Oh, do y'all like?" There's like no alcohol, and my mom said we got rid of all of it. Nothing's in the house. We didn't want you to even have to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember only thinking, I remember only feeling that as love, not
Mm-hmm.
as like anything to be ashamed of, or that they had to move all this stuff around. I'm just like, wow, they did all that for me. Just feeling really grateful.
Mm. How about you, David? Do you remember your first holidays?
I'm pretty sure. So I went into treatment in the fall. So Thanksgiving and Christmas came up quick, and I'm pretty sure I spent them in treatment, and my family didn't really. I didn't go home for holidays. I don't
Mhm.
think that they came up. Um, even I think we like maybe FaceTimed and stuff on Christmas, and maybe they came up the next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
My mom. The next holidays, I think I went home, and this stands out to me. I can remember having a particularly hard time with going to my mom's, going back to my old bedroom in her house, looking up, and I can remember it hitting me when I went to bed the first night, and I was looking up at the same ceiling fan that I used to look at so many times while I was high. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, man, this sucks. I had like such an icky feeling, and I wanted out. I was like, I just want to get, and I'm pretty sure I ended the trip early. I like was supposed to stay 4 days, and I think only stayed 2, and then went back to Asheville. Um, and then since that has gotten much better, and then I've shortly after I started working in this industry, like the addiction treatment industry, which just doesn't stop. So I would work holidays for the next 3 years. Like the next year, if I worked Thanksgiving, I would get Christmas off, but then the next year I would work Christmas and get Thanksgiving off. Um, my mom remodeled her house. Maybe that helped with some of it didn't seem so familiar to back when I was using. But I thought that was worth mentioning. That definitely stood out to me looking up at
Mm-hmm.
that ceiling fan and struggling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, look at that.
That's the
How
first.
well he cleans up.
It's the first Thanksgiving, and so that's my brother, my dad, and me. So everyone looks pretty happy there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing their thing. Everybody's just hanging out. Well, I think there's it cuts both ways, right? Like it is so new. So there is like this, it can be both sides. You can feel very raw and vulnerable, like looking at the ceiling fan for the first time in that way that you can recall, and being feeling very uncomfortable. And it can also hit on the other way of like, that's when we pay attention best as humans, when things are new and novel. You know, we remember the first time for almost everything we do, because we're like, our brain is whoom, locked in. And there's a beautiful opportunity there of like, man, like, can I like lock in and like really pay attention to this first time? You know, we generally miss the last time, but the first time we were typically paying attention, you know? So I don't know. And that's not to say it should be, I'm not saying it should be like sunshine and rainbows and stuff, but I do think there's a really unique opportunity for like being absolutely present and in the moment. First, like holidays sober.
Yeah.
It brings up an interesting question. I was talking to someone the other day. I think there's obviously no right answer to it, but it's like, what is home? Like, what dictates what home is?
That's a great question.
And it was someone who lives in another state. He's here in Greenville, alumni of GT, and his parents are about to move from his childhood home just down the road to another home. So they'll still be in the same town, but they won't be in the home that he was like born and came, like he's lived there literally his entire life until he left. And so his home, that area, is home, that house, or his home, the new house where his parents are in, or his home here in Greenville. And it was just a interesting discussion that for me, I landed on based on my parents just recently leaving the house that they've lived in for most of my life, that home to me right now is still always feels like the most home feels like where my parents are. Like wherever they are, that's what feels like home. Because if I went to that house that they just moved out of, that wouldn't feel like home with all the new people in there and all that. When I go back to that area that in Mount Pleasant that they no longer live in, that doesn't feel like home. And I kind of just kept disqualifying things until I got to like, it's really wherever they are is what feels like home, wherever that is. But some people would have different answers to that. No right or wrong.
I feel like home is where the heart is. I think I've read that somewhere. I'm sorry.
I think I've heard that once or twice.
You're a loser, dude. Grow up.
David, I don't know what you think of that. I actually really love this question of where is home. What do you think, Dave?
I don't know. I mean, I want to say exactly agree with Lucas, but then I think as someone who's had his dad pass away too, like eventually they pass, your mom and dad leave, and then what does home become? So you've got to, become something different. And yeah, and as cheesy as it is, home is where the heart is. It is where like the most love is. Like the people that you love most, and then that can fluctuate through people's lives, just like the seasons. I think home was there.
Well, and there's one place, wherever it is, no matter where my parents live, that everybody comes back to a couple times a year for these like important holidays to all be together. And that is not that specific house, not that specific area, but wherever my parents are. So just for right now, that's what makes sense. But then it's weird. I wonder what my parents would say, because they've obviously had parents and might have felt that way, but then parents go, and then where does home become?
Where their kids are.
Where their kids are. Yeah, it might be like the opposite. It's just so it's really interesting. It's just so subjective.
Yeah, but they have 4 kids, so like what if the kids are in different spots?
In 3 different places.
Yeah. I think it's a feeling, man. Like I think that goes back to where the heart is. I think it's a feeling. I even think about like I'm on vacation and I'm like, oh, you ready to head back home? And I'm like talking about like the Airbnb we're staying in or whatever, like where I might lay my head down at night. But there's also like a safety and a security there. And then like I can think of places that I like grew up and go visit, and it feels like home. There's a feeling there because like I grew up in that area, going to that school or playing on this street or in these woods, whatever, and it feels like home. So I don't know. I think it's a feeling that you just carry around with you all the time, and then just certain people and places activate it.
All right, let's be honest here. For all 3 of us, home is where the bidet is.
Go,
dude. Wherever
I'll tell you
that
is, it's the truth, dude.
That's where home is, where the bidet, and for Lucas, his sleep number is.
yeah, bro. That is it, dude. That is so true, man. Like I that is the thing I look forward to most when I come home.
Me too, dude. When I'm like off in a hotel or something, I constantly turn to my wife and I'm like, I can't wait to have my bidet back.
I'm right there with you. I also like judge people. I'm like, these heathen live like this? Like, they just live like this here? Like, I gotta get back.
We just did a staycation and I swung by home.
I'm telling you.
I had to swing by.
Stuff that I did need to grab, but I
had somebody to visit.
I kept my stuff together until those things could coincide so I could get home and take care of business.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I was just got done telling one of my friends that I was visiting the past weekend in Georgia, and I was like, man, you really got to get a bidet. And I'm explaining the whole like thing to him. And he's like, yeah, but I have so many toilets in my house that I use. I'm like, well, get at least one, dude. And that's like, that'll be your home base.
Yeah.
So I think you're exactly right. Can somebody contact Hobby Lobby and make sure we make one of those? Like, home is where the bidet is, and flowery writing on a piece of like plywood, and I can like put it on my wall in my bathroom. I'll take it. So good.
Well, and I get credit for that one.
Yeah, it's good stuff, dude.
And I don't mean for like the home stuff to be a tangent, but I guess what brought it up for me is that like when it comes to triggers and what to do for the holidays and stuff like that, there's probably some objective opinion that home is like with others, whether that be at home or in this new area where you're getting sober or whatever. And I think that home is important to a lot of people, and especially for the holidays. And so if it's that important, I think people will make considerations and concessions to make it work because it's that important wherever it is. And so if that's in Greenville because your son's in Greenville or far enough along that they come back to the parents' home, I think it's worth it to figure out drinking or anything like that so that everybody can share that together. Again, especially over the holidays.
Yeah. Hey, well, real quick, let's go through some things that like you can personally do. Like if you're a person who's struggling with drugs and alcohol, you're recently sober, you walk into an event that you don't have control over, alcohol's there. What are some things that you can do to help your situation?
Transportation, escape plan. I think those are big ones of like, if you don't have your own car, have a plan for if stuff gets rough there, you start feeling squirrely, like know a meeting that you can go to, a place that you can go to, just go drive or go to a store or something. Another big one is to like have your own cup if there's going to be drinking and mark that cup in some kind of way so that you know you're not going to accidentally pick up anyone else's cup. Me personally, I would just always have it in my hand, and that helps with social anxiety also.
That was a big one for me. I always wanted something in my hands.
Have something to drink all the time that isn't alcohol so that you're never to the point where you're like, gosh, I'm thirsty and that beer looks good. It's like, I'm not thirsty because I've been chugging water this whole time and this water is fine.
Yeah, I would say also have a wingman or a wing woman, like somebody who knows what you're going through, that you can like, and you talk about before, like, hey, could be tough. And if they're there with you, like it's an agreed upon, like quick, like word of, hey, I'm getting out of here, or I'm having a hard time with this, like just a reassuring, like pat on the shoulder. Or if they're not there, it's like a sponsor or somebody's not there, having that person on speed dial. Like if you need to just like step out or go to the restroom, and you can just like give them a call or a text real quick, just to remind yourself like it'll end if it's like if you're having a hard time, you know?
Well, and to one of your earlier points around, I think something that can be tough with holidays is that not everybody knows. And this is like the one time that it feels like there's pressure now for everybody to know, because people are going to ask, well, what have you been doing for the past 6 months? Your mom said you moved down to Greenville, but she was kind of cryptic about it and didn't seem to want to give any other answers. She said, you're doing stuff there. You know, it's like at some point I do think, and I may be biased in this, I know a lot of people would disagree with me, but I think telling people in your life and in your family is really important. And I do think the more, the better. I think in like a burning the boat sense of like, I'm not going back to drinking, and therefore everyone needs to know that like I'm sober, I'm in recovery, and I'm not like, there is no going back. And then on the other hand, that goes from a room full of strangers that have no idea how they're going to trigger you to like a room full of supporters that all are like, have consideration for you in your recovery. And what bigger like superpower is that? And who's going to be more likely to want to support me in recovery than my family? And there'll be outliers, that one uncle, whatever, that's like, well, why can't I have a natural light just because he's got a drinking problem? I don't get it. That's fine. But I think by and large, more family than not will be supportive of it. And why not have all that on your side at the expense of, you know, to me, just some humility and forthcoming truth rather than like secrets and nobody can know the secret spy mission I've been on in Greenville for 6 months. I'm actually working for the CIA. I'm doing some contract work in Greenville. I'm on an ultra secret mission.
You went Donald Trump with that.
Yeah, he did.
It's taking me to a sober living. I'm just doing recon work in there. I'm doing recon work in there.
There it goes. I know, but the hands are coming. The head is going and the hands are coming. Yeah.
No, but it's like really, it's like the lie just has to get crazier and crazier the more you explain why you moved to a totally different place, probably in the wake of like, well, yeah, you were in jail, and then all of a sudden you moved to, or you had that real weird medical episode where your mom said you had a seizure and stopped breathing, and then next thing I know, you're living in Greenville. Like people kind of know what's going on, you know, just fill in the blanks and make it easy.
Yeah, the best point I can make there is like it's not something that you have to protect people from. And it's really important for us who actually struggle with drugs and alcohol to be honest and truthful about that to others. And I think that extends to the family. Like they need to be honest and truthful about their son or daughter who's struggling to their family. I think it just hurts people when they feel that they have to protect from. And here I'm going to give an example, but I've had families that are like, well, but what about his brother? Like his brother's only 16. We don't want to expose him to this, so we're not going to bring him up. We're going to wait until a day after Christmas, then we're going to come see our son and spend 2 days with him kind of in secret. And it's like, no, like the best thing, in my opinion, the best thing that you can do for his younger brother is expose him to it and let him know, like, hey, this is the truth. This is what we're going through as a family right now. And I think it'll help prevent it from happening to the younger brother if he can see that truth. So I agree with everything you just said, Lucas. I don't think families need to keep that in the dark.
Yeah, I think more harm is caused by secrecy, and like trying to play games with people than like just being like transparent with them, especially in recovery, but really in all kind of stuff. Like growing up in the South, there's all kind of platitudes and like ways of talking around stuff that end up just creating way more uncertainty, particularly even with kids. So I mean, you use your discretion there, but I don't know. I feel like being as like transparent as you can is like a great idea.
The other side of that is the less people that know I have a problem with something is the less people that are going to hold me accountable when I slip up. And
Then you need to be looking at yourself in the mirror. Oh,
yeah.
What's your plans?
Well, the less people that would even know that it's classified as a slip up.
Yes.
If someone doesn't even know that I have a drinking problem and they see me grab a beer, they just think I'm a guy grabbing a beer. If someone knows I have a drinking problem, they know it's about to be World War III.
Yeah, I mean, first year is tough. It depends on where you're at, how long you've been doing it. And somebody needs to know. You know what I mean? Like I go back to my wingman or wing woman. Like somebody needs to know. Like you can't just go in there and like pull the wool over everybody's eyes. Like you're just setting yourself up for like a potential relapse. Like,
well, and when that you classified that earlier as a trigger, rightly so, of like a trigger could be going there and like who knows and who doesn't know. If you proactively tell people before then, you have completely removed that being a trigger. And I can't tell you how many times I've worked with families where it's like, well, we know, but we really don't want to tell so-and-so's parents, his grandparents, because we just don't know how they'd handle it. And that puts so much stress and pressure on like the guy that we're working with or the individual in recovery that like sometimes it's not even their idea to keep the secret. I find it's other family members' ideas to keep the secret because they don't want to deal with the shame of my son or daughter has a problem and I'm having a really hard time figuring out how to tell my parents or my in-law parents about that, parent-in-laws about that. It's way more about them than it is themselves than the person whose secret it is.
Well, in football terms, Lucas, they call that the problems with playing a prevent defense. If you're on your back foot at all times, like you're going to get shredded, but you got to blitz and you got to go at them with proactivity. So I think in non-football terms, yes, like being like proactively transparent gives you some semblance of control. And it's just like controlling what you can, as opposed to just, for lack of a better word, you're kind of playing the victim card of like, well, everything's against me, or I can't do this, I can't do that. And I'm like, you're choosing that. Just to be aware, you are choosing that.
I'm thinking back to way back in the day when I was on dating apps.
Oh boy.
My mom remembers.
I would put in my dating app, like, I don't drink.
Yeah.
And so one of the first questions would always be, oh, you don't drink. What's going on? And my response right out of the gate is like, oh, it's something that I've struggled with. I got help for, so I choose like for that not to be a part of my life. And I would go into like, however, I don't care if you partake, if that's your thing, but like, I just don't do it. And weed out the people from the get-go who were going to accept me for who I am and the people who weren't going to accept me for who I am. And I needed to be okay with that at the end of the day. And so that's my advice, whether they want to hear it or not, to all of the guys when they're talking about whether it's dating or job interviews or like, well, they want me to work on Sundays, which is our big like process group day and they're going to know I'm in sober living. Should I tell them? Yeah, tell them. I'm always going to lean toward like, just be honest about it. Whether it's, like I said, dating, career choice, whatever the case may be, like it's who you are. And people are going to decide whether they accept you for who you are or not. And you've got to be okay with it.
Yeah. And I would say, like, for the most part, like the advice we're giving is based off like pretty supportive families who are understanding, which is most of the families we work with. That's not everybody's scenario. So I would say the other part of it is just don't isolate. You know what I mean? Like, let's say maybe it's not safe to go back to your family. Maybe it's just, maybe there is like a long standing, like, amount of evidence that it would not go well, particularly in this vulnerable time. Then don't isolate. You know what I mean? Like, there are like local community groups, AA, 12-step traditions that would do stuff around the holidays. Maybe you made connections, like maybe it's go spend time with their family. Like, it's just a delicate time that first year, you know. So like
in Greenville, they do something like one of the 12-step communities does something called the Alcathon.
Yeah.
And for 24 hours on every odd hour on the half hour, they do an hour 12-step meeting and then have an hour in between where there's just food and people hanging out. And so for a 24-hour block, anyone could go there that's struggling and instantly run into other people in recovery that are willing to talk, know it's a hard time. You'd have a meeting coming up at the most in an hour and just hang out, talk for that time, then have a meeting, then talk afterwards, stay for the next meeting. If you need to stay there all day, stay there all day. But I know I go there Thanksgiving midday, and it's like 100 people there and everybody brought food and there's sides out the wazoo and hanging out and gratitude meetings. It's just like, I can't think of a better place to go if you're struggling and you don't have that community. You can go there and instantly have it.
For sure. And maybe if you're in a place where like it's not as accessible, like considering something like that on like a virtual standpoint, but being proactive and doing your research. And then like it can also be a big like learning moment. If you go through the holidays, like, I was all by myself, well, that may be something you need to address. Big picture, you know, like maybe you're like, man, I didn't have anybody there. Like, okay, well, let's learn from that. And like, what kind of friends or connection do you want to have? Because that's the thing. In reality is like people get like, you know, people families will put boundaries down with people. Some people may not be welcome back at their homes for the holidays because they like stole this or lied or manipulated. So just being very wary of isolation. Dude, I always want to say isolation. Just being very aware of isolation.
Isolation.
Be very aware of isolation because that is like, that takes you right down the path of shame and puts you at real risk for relapse.
Well, that same alumni that I was talking about earlier, discussing like where home is, he's 4 years sober now, still in the Greenville area, doing well, all that. But he asked me last week, he was like, hey, I don't think I can afford to go home for Thanksgiving. The plane tickets are really expensive. You offered for me to come over to your family's Thanksgiving last year. Could I do that this year? And my family's always big on that. But then it turned out he was going to go meet up with his brother who's closer and go golf. But he had that option there because he asked. And I know that's awkward to be like, can I come to your Thanksgiving? But but I think that it's worth it at the end of the day if it's not going to be alone. And if you know someone kind of has an open door policy, or what are people doing for Thanksgiving, letting people know like, I don't really have anything going on and I'm kind of worried about being alone that day. I think if somebody can, they're going to jump in and say, we'll come to mine. Not like in a victim way of like, I don't have anywhere to go. If only someone would invite me.
Yeah. Two things about that. One, I appreciate y'all opening your house to everybody. I'll see you on Thanksgiving as well because Barry's cooking is awesome. So I'll be there. Super excited about it.
That invitation was not for you, dude.
That's what I heard. Wait, I heard that open door policy. Come on in.
For strays, dude. For strays, not for people who have families.
Strays, very subjective. I identify as a stray right now. All right. The other thing, don't let the shame keep you from asking for help. You know what I mean? Because like people who then like for example, if this guy were to come to y'all's family, Lucas, for Thanksgiving, I don't think there'd be this thing where like I'm put out. It's more of like, no, I want to help. Like, yes, please come. Like we have this thing in us where we want to help and give. Like we're very like community oriented creatures. And so don't let shame hold you back or like, I'm sorry, I don't want to put you out and all that kind of stuff. Like, don't let that hold you back because I think most people, by and large, would be very excited to help somebody and very excited to like provide and like to give. So I don't know, just being very like mindful of that.
It's Thanksgiving, dude. Who
It's
doesn't want to have somebody
Thanksgiving.
in, especially one person that's a friend of yours or an associate or something that's like, I have nowhere to go for Thanksgiving. It's like the one day that you do that. You say,
Bro,
okay,
it's
well, come to my house.
some would say it's the best day. Some
Yeah.
would say it's the best holiday, you
If
know?
you're not doing that, what are you doing?
I mean, it's the best. It's
All
the
right.
best.
Real quick, as we're closing out, I want to hear your least favorite holiday.
Ah, who wants to go first?
Dude, what counts as a holiday? We got to establish that.
Any of the major holidays.
The big ones.
Yeah, that you
So President's Day,
decorate
No,
for, or
no, not
Juneteenth,
President's Day. Not,
Yeah.
no,
Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
sure, why not? Be weird.
Arbor Day, Easter,
Well, I'm just saying some of those would
Labor
easily
Day.
be my least favorite just because you're like, I don't know, like President's Day, I don't do anything. Like we normally don't even
Go
have the
with
day
the
off.
big
No,
ones,
like the
Lucas.
ones
Don't
that
make
are
it
celebrated.
difficult.
So
Yeah.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, Easter, July 4th,
Halloween,
Memorial,
any
Halloween.
ones that are like celebrated.
That's 6.
Okay.
Memorial Day or Labor Day, because those
Labor-
would
sure.
be it if it was that.
Yes.
All right, Labor Day, stupid holiday, and nothing goes on. It's just a day off from work.
What? Labor Day is a banging holiday, dude. College football's getting going. It's the end of summer. What are we talking about? All right, I'll do mine. All right, I'm gonna say there's a condition on this one. 4th of July, if I'm not around a body of water. If I'm by a lake or a pool or an ocean, 4th of July, great. But if I'm just like sweating my ass off in my backyard trying to cook some burgers in the middle of the summer, no thank you. Don't want it. Not a fan whatsoever. So maybe if I live somewhere else, but in the South, backyard barbecue and there's no body of water, no bueno for this guy. Too much sweat.
All right. Let's say you are by water.
Woo,
Then
I'm
what
having a
does
good
the
time, dude.
No, then what
Cannonballs.
does your holiday become?
What's that?
Then what does the holiday become? You're at the lake. You're having fun for the 4th. You've already got it planned. So now what's the worst holiday?
Man, I don't know if I have one. I love all the other ones.
Okay.
Like it's the same thing, kind of like for Memorial Day and Labor Day. Like if I'm not around, those are better because like it's not quite as hot. But I generally want to be around water for those. But dude, no, Easter candy slaps. I love some Easter candy. I love that
You
spring's
strike me as a
happening.
peeps guy.
Absolutely not. Heck no,
Yes,
dude.
he does, dude. He loves Peeps.
Do
He's
not like
secretly-
peeps.
He
Won't
hides
even
under
eat
his
'em.
bed and he eats them.
Have you not met how picky I am? Dude, I'm a Cadbury mini eggs boy. Those are the
Your
best.
pickiness is why we know that you love Peeps. Picky
Ugh.
people love Peeps.
Don't like
and
Peeps.
we don't get it.
I don't like peeps at all. Can't stand them. Not a fan. Halloween is fun if it's cold. Man, I think I love all the holidays. I can't pick one. So that's why the only thing I come up with is the conditional one. 4th of July without a body of water. That's what I got.
If we go back to Big 6, New Year's, Easter, 4th of July, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Those are the Big 6 to me.
Yeah.
Like that really matter, that are the biggest ones. I would say New Year's, because I think it is largely a drinking holiday and like there's not much to it. And as I've been sober, it is really just another day to me. I don't do anything for it. I certainly don't go out at night for it. Most of the time my wife falls asleep before even, like, we don't even stay up for it. Like, it really is just, we wake up the next day and it's a new year. I would say that's the most garbage one to me.
If I had to pick one non-condition related, I think that tracks, because I almost would rather you just, instead of doing it like a week after Christmas, just slap it like after Christmas, just so I get like, so it's more like all together. It's annoying how there's like Christmas and then a few days and you have New Year's. Just throw it all together, in my opinion. And the same thing, yeah. Like I'm not going to any parties or staying up late or whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say I was shocked that neither of you mentioned that holiday, because I feel the same way. Kind of a waste. And why do we have to wait until midnight? Can we just celebrate at 6 p.m., eat some hot dogs, and go to bed?
Hot dogs for New Year's, David. We know you're way more fancy than that. We know you're way more fancy.
Oh no, we don't though. That's the whole thing. Like, why do we have to get in sequin dresses, tuxes? I don't know.
No, but you have
Oh,
collard greens and you have black-eyed peas.
That's
and,
New Year's Day.
yeah.
Yeah, but New Year's you have like
New Year's Eve is
charcuterie board.
I'd call New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day together, just like Christmas is Christmas Eve and Christmas Day together.
One redeeming factor is there's generally good football on. I will say I'm usually down for that. And on those years where it's like Christmas and then we have a weekend and then there's New Year's, I like those two. So then it kind of all like gets like smushed together. So that's pretty fun. But yeah, if I had to pick one non-condition related, I think New Year's.
Yeah,
Agreed.
you want to hear mine?
Yeah,
mine's an unpopular opinion.
I thought you were going to say New Year's. Okay, go ahead.
I'm
What's
gonna
yours?
get hate for this. Halloween. I hate Halloween.
yeah, I figured that.
I hate Halloween. I hate the decor. I think the decor's ugly. Bats and skeletons. Even
Funny
the
because you had
colors.
decorations all over your house this year for Halloween.
I didn't.
Did you not?
No. And the year before, we had some bats up that my wife put up, but I was like, why do we have to put bats up?
I
love.
And I will say
Dude,
this.
David, you're hilarious. It's not
like-
like the trick or treaters coming. I don't like the candy. Or you're like, it's the decor.
It
I don't
is
like the colors.
and I like fall
it's kind of
decor.
spooky.
Orange
me
and black. Who likes that?
Hear me out. Exactly. Even the colors are ugly. The
Bad,
colors are awful.
spooky
That's why I
skeletons. Ooh, gross.
I'm here for pastels. I don't want. Well,
You know
orange.
David's favorite holiday?
I don't
It's
know.
Easter.
Yeah.
He's like pastel
orange
colors,
and
little
green all
bunnies,
over my house.
green
True.
grass.
I would like to make-
springtime.
I would like to differentiate between fall decor and Halloween decor. I like fall decor. I think that's nice. It's a little muted orange. It's more of a burnt orange, muted greens.
What are we gonna do with this guy?
We've got leaves, pumpkins,
Dude, lock 'em up.
squash,
Lock them up for the month of October. and
I
just
know.
put 'em out.
cornucopias.
That'll be a little. Halloween gets more fun when you have kids and they get excited about like the trick or treating. But it's like everything. You got to do it in little bits. I mean, this past year it was like boo in the zoo, and then we're going to this, then we're going to this. I'm like, look, it just needs to be one trick or treating, and that's it. And it was great because it was on a Friday. But dude, you give me a Halloween like a Monday or Tuesday, f that. Terrible. Kids up all night trying to trick or treat, and then go to school the next day. Terrible. But I
Yeah.
think you'll have more fun with it when you have kids.
Maybe so. I already have a game plan. I saw a video of a mom going through her kids' Halloween candy, and she was grabbing all the Reese cups out, and she was like, "This is poison. That's poison. This you can't have these. These are poison." That's going to be me. All the Reese cups go to dad.
And then you eat them. You eat the poison. You sacrifice for the kids. That's
That's
nice.
going to destroy that child. And to make them not like arguably one of the best candies in the world and have a complex where they think it's poison feels like
so
the
cruel.
meanest thing to do to someone you love so much that you're
Yep.
raising.
Yep.
I will empathize with you, David, for Halloween, because Halloween is fun when you're a kid. When I'm getting messed up, it was always an excuse to get messed up and go to parties and get drunk and high. And then once I got sober, it might as well have been the same thing as New Year's. Sober, not married, no kids. It's the same thing as New Year's. It's just an excuse to go get messed up. But now having kids, especially this year, where they could like more and more understand it and get into it, it has given it new meaning and fun to me to kind of relive my childhood through them. So
Yeah.
I do think it comes around.
I'm excited for that day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
this past
can't
one
figure
was
out.
great, dude. This past one was one of the best, man. It was actually cold. It was on a Friday. Like it was great. I really wish like they would just put Halloween on the last Friday of every October. Like that would be fantastic. And the weather was cool, man. It was good. But I didn't like it either before I had kids. Same exact thing you said, Lucas.
Well, and another religious holiday that has nothing to do with religion.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like it's All Hallows Eve, which I want to say was originally a Catholic holiday, and just
Yeah.
kind of an observance thing that then just got morphed into the craziest consumerist stuff ever of just like it's actually an excuse to just sell a ton of candy and sell all this weird pumpkin stuff and just keeps get things added to it that have like nothing to do with it to where now it's unrecognizable to the original religious holiday that it was.
Man, big candies out there ruining everything. I do have a candy update real quick. I have been waiting for this for a long, long time. And I went to the store Friday to Quick Trip, and I looked down, and at the register, it was wild berry sour Skittles.
Oh my God, dude, no one cares.
They're here, dude. They're here. I ate them. So good. Everybody check them out. All 5 of you listening to the podcast, wild berry sour Skittles. Delicious. So good. I'm pumped. Pumped.
Did they have Wicked on the package?
They did. You know
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about.
I've seen that.
Yeah, dude. It's good.
Did everyone just signed off the podcast when you started talking about that?
That's all right. I'm about to sign off too and go to Quick Trip and get me some candy for my Monday.
All 5 of them said, I'm done.
Yep.
Mm.
All right. And that's where we end the recording.
All right. Goodbye. Happy holidays.